Out of Order English Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment you've been waiting for. Out of Order English Podcast has just started. Welcome. This is the very first episode of Out of Order English Podcast. I am Ben from Turkey. And I am not alone. We are 3 people in this episode today. Let me introduce our permanent host, Steve. He is a native English speaker from UK. Hello, Steve.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Ben. Hello. Oh, I won't mention the other name because you want to surprise everybody.
And we have a guest. She is not a permanent guest, but yeah, maybe from time to time she will be with us. And welcome, Sevira.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Sevira.
Steve, everyone knows you on Free4Talk. You have the most followers, even though you lost like a couple hundreds today because the owner, the admin of Free4Talk, just made some reduction and removed some inactive accounts from the system. So you end up losing like 15% of your followers. How do you feel?
It's nice to have so many followers because obviously that shows that I'm doing something right and endeavoring to help as many people as I can, and they appreciate that, which is good, so they follow me. But losing a few, that's okay. There's always new people coming in all the time, so we'll get to meet some new people and those numbers will go up again.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I mean, I will not agree with the part when you said, for example, when you have lots of followers, it means someone doing something good. Not always. Yeah, in this case, it is true. I agree with that. But not all the cases, because we see people around the world, I mean, like on social media, they are so popular, but they are doing so, I mean, like worthless things. And you said, come on.
Yeah, some people do stuff and you think, why on earth are they wasting their time doing that? And you think, it doesn't make any sense. But they've got thousands of followers. Go figure.
Yeah, I mean, even millions. Yeah, I mean, like on YouTube, for example. Don't need to mention even Instagram and the other popular social media. What do you think, Sevira?
Well, it is a very strange thing, right? When people do things that you don't think really necessary, but I think people have just their own preferences, and it's not our duty to judge what people likings are.
I mean, like sometimes you feel sad because the quality just became not appreciated. That's make someone feel sad. I mean, like, because there are really great works spent so much time, energy to be produced. But yeah, I mean, when you look at people, what do they appreciate? You just say, what's the problem? They say each to their own. Of course, everyone has its own preference. But I mean, the quality things should be a little bit like higher appreciated. I don't know.
Well, the thing is, everybody is unique, aren't they? So, oh, sorry, Sevira, please carry on.
Oh, no, it's okay. I think there's a little bit of delay between among us.
Let's talk about our podcast. This is our very first episode of Out of Order English Podcast. How this program just appeared into existence. Let's talk about that. Actually, it is Steve's suggestion. It is Steve's idea. Steve, can you tell us about this podcast? How did you think up of it?
Well, when I've done podcasts in the past, it's always been live. So you do it at the time, and it's ad hoc. So it's not scheduled apart from the time. You have an idea what you're talking about, but it's not scripted. So it's very spontaneous. So if a glitch happens, you deal with it as it happens. If somebody makes an error in what they say or says something funny, then it's spontaneous. It just makes it sound a little bit more inviting. because you never really know what's around the corner, and the listener is also not going to know what's around the corner. So you might have a surprise.
Yeah, actually, in normal cases, it is something I wouldn't dare actually to try. But since we have you in this podcast, I mean, like a native English speaker, in case I do some mistakes, you will fix us and help us learn from our mistakes. And that's an opportunity, I said, maybe, because, I mean, without making mistakes, you will not learn in good way. So in this case, when you just point out the mistakes, I think I will pay more attention. So yeah, I mean, thanks to you, it is happening, this one.
Well, you know me for a long time now. I'm happy to help people, and if I notice a mistake or a grammatical error, then it's good to be able to help people with that, and hopefully that mistake won't happen again.
Yeah, we hope that. But of course, it will be not easy as we say now, at least for me, of course. But at least this problem, I mean, this mistake will be recorded, and other people also will learn from my mistakes. And actually, it reminds me a saying, it goes like that: learn from the mistakes of others, because you will not have enough time to do all by yourself.
Yeah, that's true. If you are listening to something like this podcast or a movie, TV series, whatever it may be, YouTube, for instance, if you can notice other people's mistakes too and learn from them so that you don't make that mistake, then that's a good thing. It's a positive thing.
And actually, you just made me think about that as well. I mean, yeah, for example, when you are watching some other productions, some other videos or something, you can spot the problem, but not if you are beginner. For example, if you are intermediate, maybe you will not be able to. So it will not be easy to learn from the mistakes in that case. But here, you will fix it right at the moment. I mean, like right off the bat. Can we say that right off the bat?
Right off the bat, yeah, or at that moment. It's good if you've made a mistake and somebody mentions it to you later. It's not going to have the same effect as if it's mentioned when it happens, because it's there instantly in the front of your mind, and you'll probably take more notice of that if somebody just mentions it a little later. Oh, by the way, you didn't say this right. It's pronounced like this.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, it helps in that case to pay more attention. And yeah, of course, because the listeners also will pay more attention. If you, like, for example, tries to fix it 5 minutes later, maybe it will be a problem, tries to get what you are talking about. Because, I mean, not all the people listening our podcast, they are advanced maybe. So, yeah, it would be good to just fix it right at the moment, right off the bat. Yeah.
Absolutely right.
Actually, I mean, like, I have some problem with the spontaneous talk, because I feel a little bit like without preparing something, be ready for it, when I tries to talk, I feel nervous. So, yeah, I don't know what to say next. But yeah, I mean, I hope with this podcast, it will help me. After some time, I will get the hang of it.
Well, you'll get a little bit more confidence the more you do, the more confidence you will get. Because you're pushing yourself to a limit. You're pushing yourself further than you would normally do, and therefore your confidence will build, because you think, "Well, that went all right. I'll feel a little more relaxed next time."
Yeah, actually, this is a new level for me, because I mean, at the beginning, I didn't even want to try to speak. I mean, like, I was so shy and hesitating when tries to create like some sentence. I just pause after every word or make sounds like but now I feel a little bit more comfortable. But yeah, at that time when I talk, at least I have something in mind. But now, even like thanks to you made me test the water, check the water, or yeah, I mean, like, I'm trying something new. So Samira, what do you think of this method, this approach of Steve?
Yeah, a lot of people don't have access to talking directly to native speakers. And when they do, of course, they are nervous. Just like me, when I first talked to Steve on Free for Talk, I feel like my heart was pounding too fast. Like it's like asking my professor for revisions. But as time goes by, you get more relaxed and just getting your point across, expressing yourself, it gets easier. And of course, everything takes time. And I'm so grateful for Steve's existence on Free for Talk, because I think one of the people there said Steve is the reason he got promoted or something. So yeah, I'm so grateful Steve is here, and I'm sure a lot of people do too.
We a little bit like tries to make it so good and feel a little bit like under pressure, but he just make us like, yeah, it is not so important like you think. Make me feel many times actually like that. I just pay attention to even tiny details, but he just, make me just, like overlook those things. And I started to think, yeah, so it shouldn't be like so serious. And yeah, thank you, Steve.
That's okay. I like to try and encourage everybody if I can. Everyone has it in them to come and speak, and often people come and they're shy and they'll say, oh, my English isn't very good, I'm nervous, I don't want to make a mistake, I feel like a fool, and those things are just little things that you just need to overcome. It's like climbing a ladder. You've got to put your foot on the first rung of the ladder in order to elevate, to go up and to proceed and get on with it. So that's all it is getting the first step on the ladder. Once you've overcome that initial shyness and nervousness, you realize that the people you're talking with are friendly, they're polite, courteous, they want to help you, they're not going to make fun of you. Then you start to feel more comfortable and relaxed, because it's almost, when you come back again, it's almost like, oh, I wonder if Ben's on today. I liked talking with Ben last time. He's a nice chap. And Severa is a nice lady. We always have nice conversations. I'll look for them and see if they're there. And it's like rekindling a friendship every time you meet each other again.
And how can I say, sometimes recording is good. For example, after several years, you can even check yourself and see. Because, for example, if you don't do recording of yourself, even though you made lots of progress, you may not notice it. You may not feel it. So sometimes, look back and compare yourself with the old yourself with the recording. It really motivates, it helps. I like it. Why? Because I said, see, I was like that and now I am like this. So see the difference? So I am proud of my mistakes sometimes. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Severa wants to ask something. Severa, go ahead, dear.
Yeah, I see you like several times go to Vietnamese room on Free for Talk. And I think there is a little stereotypical, assumption about Vietnamese people, is that they don't speak quite fully, as in pronunciation and other things. Is there any specific reasons you go to Vietnamese rooms?
Yeah, I do try to, because it's Free for Talk is run from Vietnam by Phuong, and he's created it, and it's a wonderful platform. But as I've said before in Vietnamese rooms, it's such a shame that a lot of the people from Vietnam don't come into English-speaking rooms to practice. I went into one the other day. It was the country was Vietnamese or Vietnam, and it said English underneath. I thought, oh, that means they're probably speaking English, so I'll go in. I don't normally go into Vietnamese rooms unless it says something about England or English in the title, because they would be speaking Vietnamese and I don't understand it. But I went in, and I think there were 5 people there, and they were all talking English quite well, actually. I was quite surprised. And they said, oh, thank you for coming in. It's they'd heard of me from other people on Free for Talk, and we were just very grateful that I went in and offered to help. And that's what I like to do, offer to help.
So you came there to encourage them to speak more English.
Yes, to listen to what they had to say, hopefully join the conversation with them, and if they did make any errors or mistakes, then I could help them with that at that time, rather than maybe they come across something in a later time where they're pronouncing something wrong, when it could be fixed then when I was there. Not everybody gets the chance to speak to a native speaker who can give them information that is useful or important.
Okay, yeah, that's great. That's great. And how about you, Ben? Is it the same in Turkey? Do people get uncomfortable when they speaking in English?
Yeah, of course, it is not easy for us. And actually, I was having difficulties finding partner or finding someone to practice my speaking before I found Free for Talk. And actually, I was in an endeavor, like I created like a Discord group before Free for Talk and tries to make people join to talk with them. But how to spot those people, how to find those people, it was not easy. So I go and tries to chat with people, like in text chatting, to find people who can conversate, who can talk. But yeah, I mean, like, not easy. Not all of them are ready to speak, or they don't have time. For example, if hardly I find someone who can speak. But one of those people just mentioned Free for Talk, and she said, "Do you know Free for Talk?" And I said, "No." After that, I stopped that research. I mean, that searching anymore, because on Free for Talk, people are ready to talk. So you don't need to adjust anything. Like, for example, to do this podcast, to do this recording, we had a little difficulties to adjust the time for all of us. I mean, the available time or something. So it is a problem actually in normal case. But on Free for Talk, I mean, yeah, I mean, you don't need to set up anything. When you are ready, go and enter in a room, or you create your room, and people will come and you talk. And actually, recently they make the following features or something. So in that case, you can follow people like Steve, for example, who think it is useful to you. And when you see them available, you can jump in.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Steve.
The follow feature is really useful because you come across new people all the time, and people who think, "Oh, I really enjoyed that conversation. That was nice." So you can follow the person, and then next time you come online, look in your followers list by clicking on the social button at the bottom right, and then you can see the people you follow if they're online and if they're in a room. And if there's a little telephone symbol, it means you can join and chat with your friends. It's wonderful.
Yes.
By the way, we are intended, I think, right?
Intended.
Yeah. We are intended to make the podcast episode length, the duration of it, like around half an hour, so around 8 minutes or something left. Every one of us have something in mind to talk about, but I think we just started to talk about something it wasn't in our mind, and maybe our topics just stayed at the backup now. So maybe we can get one of them and talk about it. What do you think?
Yes, it would be an idea. It's surprising how quickly the time goes by. I mean, we've just been sort of chit-chatting about how we've known each other, how we've met each other, Free for Talk, and just a general conversation. But already 25 minutes have gone, nearly. So it's surprising how quickly it flies by. You think, well, that's probably about 5 minutes. And you're looking, what's 25 minutes? Where did that go?
Yeah, actually, and I was thinking when I am, tries to prepare a content in my mind, I said, come on, if I just, I need to do more and more and more, because, for example, this thing, it will end up, it will not continue like 5 minutes even. I just try to find more information, but it looks like the things I had in mind in this pace, if we go with this speed, it will take a couple episodes even. Wow.
It's amazing how quickly time does go by when you're having a chat. Certainly when it's with somebody that you're familiar with and you know a little bit about them. So, you know, you've got some history there, if you like, and quite often you'll go over something that you've mentioned before, and the time just flies away. It's really surprising.
And yeah, actually, I think you already have something in mind, and I have something like 1 or 2 topics. But since Savira, maybe not all the time she can join us. So at least, what do you have in mind, Savira? Let's talk about your topic a little bit. I mean, like, tries to mention or talk about what you have in mind.
Okay. So this is not what I have in mind, but this is what I have in my note.
Okay.
So I wrote something about sustainability, about living sustainable. What's the adjective for that? Living
Sustainably.
Sustainably. Thank you. Living sustainably. So basically, you would be living off grids. Like you won't be dependent on gas and electricity. So it's quite expensive at first, but after several months or several years, it will eventually pay for itself. So it is definitely something that is quite popular, I think, in the past, maybe 5 years. And I'm quite intrigued by the whole idea of it, like solar panel, like biomass, biogas, and everything. And I would like to hear also your perspective about how to live in general. Is it? Do you guys have any view on this living sustainably?
I actually watched a TV series last night from Sue Perkins. It was about a road trip that she did across in California, she was, and it was in a motorhome, and she was visiting lots of people that actually do that and live all the time. Instead of living in a house or an apartment, they live in a motorhome and then just travel from place to place, set up camp, if you like, and they live in it. They've got a shower system, they've got a toilet system, and in America it's quite well catered for. It's something that we don't have in the UK, where we have lots of parks. There are parks available in the UK, but mainly down south. But in America, they're all over the place. So if you want to live in a motorhome, you can quite easily. And it was really interesting seeing how they were living off grid.
Mm-hmm. And actually, since humanity tries to go like to the sky, to other planets, for example, renewability, can we say renewability?
Not really, no.
What can we say?
Renewable something.
Renewable. I mean, like make things, usable again and again.
Usability of something you can be reused over and over again.
It again and again, Steve. Like, for example, outcome of something can be processed and get into use one more time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's really important until we find another source in those planets, of course. And you need to get the most of what already have. So that's really important.
Yeah, if you can use something again and again, then that's definitely the best way to do it, rather than having one-use things. That's what annoys me with plastic. There's so many manufacturers manufacturing single-use plastic, when it could quite easily be made out of recycled plastic and make it recyclable, so that it can be used many, many times. It annoys me when I see something that is made out of plastic that you just dispose of and it goes into landfill. It's terrible.
And it looks like, if you just want to add something, because our time is almost finished, so I can get last your words if you want to say something, Savira and Steve.
Oh, is it going to be over?
Feels like we've only just started.
Maybe we can have you in another episode and we can talk about it. And it looks like, wow, time flies or
Time flew by.
Okay, so thank you, Savira, and thank you, Steve. I want to hear your last words.
It's been my pleasure. I hope people listen to the podcast and find it's useful, and maybe they learned something, and perhaps they have a comment that maybe you can meet up on Free for Talk and you can come in and we can chat about it a little bit more.
And actually, let's announce that as well, Steve. For example, if some of our listeners, they have, of course, like not bothering microphone, we can have them in our podcast as well. I mean, like we can have them as a guest, and they, if they have something they want to talk with us, we are open to that, right?
Yeah, sure. The more the merrier.
So, Savira, what do you want to say?
I don't know, Ben, if you can give a little bit more time, but the other day, Steve was mentioning about Neuralink, and I thought it was such a very brilliant idea, and maybe Steve would like to explain it for a bit.
Yeah, actually, it was. I am interested in that topic, but I think I will save it for another episode. Sorry, Steve, you were about to say something.
Save it for episode 3 of the live one.
Okay, then. So, and thank you to our listeners, all of you, for listening our podcast. I hope you also say this same thing. I hope you say, the time is flying, and how we just listened to and reached to the end of the podcast, and we didn't realize that. I hope you say that. So, I hope we will meet in the next episode. So, thank you all, and till next time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment you start to long for the next episode. Out of Order English podcast has just finished. Goodbye. Out of Order English podcast.